We left off with our protagonist facing down 5 threats from a local kingpin, just as he's about to receive his casino license. What happens next? Did Stanley Ho manage to convince this powerful figure to back off? Firstly, Stanley reassures YC Leung, the influential owner of the gold concessionaire, that he won't interfere with his gold business, the one thing Leung truly cares about. To deter hitmen from taking him out, Stanley also puts a hefty bounty on his potential killer's head, one worth much more than what's being offered for his assassins. This hefty sum serves as a strong deterrent to any would-be killers. And just 5 minutes before his casino opens, the governor shows up to congratulate Stanley. But there's a twist. The governor reveals that he's only doing this to help secure Stanley's license. Earlier that evening, the Portuguese overseas minister has instructed the governor to pause all operations pending further notice. However, the governor pretended he didn't receive this telegram and allowed the casino to open as planned. Maybe luck is on Stanley's side after all. It's now 1962, Stanley is 41, and he's gearing up to open his first luxury casino, the Estoril Hotel, later this year. First casino, Estoril Hotel in 1962. Named after the picturesque town in Portugal, the Estoril Hotel was a groundbreaking shift from the opium-stained gambling dens of the past. It introduced a modern casino experience complete with roulette, poker, a luxury restaurant, a dance hall, a swimming pool, and a hotel. The hotel's front features a stunning mosaic mural of Fortuna, the Roman goddess of luck created by Italian architect and sculptor Matteo Estoril. Today, the Estoril Hotel is in the process of being converted into a grand 4-story, 15,000 square feet central library. A second wife. On the personal front, Stanley's wife Clementina helped him raise 4 children. Sadly, in 1952, she was involved in a car crash, and another crash in 1973 left her wheelchair-bound the rest of her life. So in 1957, Stanley decided to marry Lucinda, a young lady from a military family he met at a ball. At the time, Stanley was 36 and Lucinda was just 14. At the time, concubines were legal under the Great Teen Legal Code until 1971. And of course, being a wealthy and influential tycoon likely made Stanley an attractive partner, despite the age and marital differences. Lucinda would go on to give Stanley 5 more children: Pansy, Daisy, Maisie, Josie, and Lawrence. 3 of those children would later play major roles in Macau's gaming industry. Tension with the Red Guard. During her first decade as a casino mogul, tensions between the local government and the Chinese community began to flare in 1966, largely due to the Chinese Cultural Revolution. Gambling operations were suspended for a time when the Red Guards began demonstrating against the presence of the Portuguese in Macau. Eurasian, part Portuguese and part Chinese, but facts seem to always play second fiddle to popular opinion. What you were didn't seem to matter as much as what people thought you were. But thankfully, this storm would pass. Macau continues to build and grow, brick by brick, casino by casino, despite some regional turmoil and the ever-expanding global tourism industry. It was a rare period of relative peace, something not seen in a century. Building of the iconic Hotel Lisboa in 1970. In 1970, Stanley constructed the iconic 12th-floor Hotel Lisboa, a standout in his collection. The design was quite unique. Up close, it looked like a birdcage, but from a distance, it resembled a giant boat. The hotel was decked out with flashy 1970s lights and had a main gate that looked like a tiger's mouth, so some superstitious gamblers preferred to use the side entrance. Inside, the lobby ceiling depicted a Portuguese-style boat braving a storm, and the hotel was filled with valuable treasures and curiosities. It was truly a landmark in Macau. A tiger does not kill a tiger. Success seems to sometimes bring about unexpected challenges. After Portugal's dictatorship ended in 1974, Governor Garcia Leandro came into power and demanded a staggering increase in the government's cut of gambling revenues from 9 million patacas a year to 120 million patacas, a 1,300% jump. Stanley was shocked. It was no typo. But instead of being daunted, Stanley saw this as an opportunity. The new deal allowed him to introduce baccarat and dead chips. Baccarat quickly became a hit, blending seamlessly with Asian culture due to its high stakes, reliance on luck, and low house edge. It now makes up 84% of Macau's gambling revenue. Dead chips, which are non-cashable gambling vouchers, only fueled the fire of excitement. In 1998, reflecting on his relationship with the Macau government, Stanley remarked, "It is a weakness to be a tiger among lambs and never fight a government official. A tiger does not kill a tiger." Throughout his career, Stanley stuck to this principle and avoided direct conflict with the government. Even during the 1980s, when the Legislative Assembly was dissolved by Governor Almeida Costa, Stanley chose not to oppose the governor, believing that the policy of the current governor was key to his own business. "My policy must be the policy of the governor in office," he asserted. The Amazon of casinos in 1980s. While Stanley kept a low profile with the government, he was more flexible with the Triads. In the 1980s, Triads in Macau expanded beyond just collecting commissions on casino chips. They began scalping ferry tickets to tourists. To address this, Stanley came up with a groundbreaking idea. Why not subcontract private gambling rooms in his casinos to Triads, independent agents, to manage directly? Think of it like Amazon, except the Triads were the third-party sellers. This system evolved into what we now know as the junket business today.
So junket is a critical portion of the Macau's VIP gaming market. Basically, they serve two basic functions. The first is that they bring the VIP players to the casinos, and second is that they also provide the financing for the gaming activities that actually take place in Macau.
Junket operators bring in high-stake gamblers, extend credit, and manage VIP rooms, earning commissions or a share of casino profits. Some even invest millions to renovate these rooms. Junkets now account for 75% of Macau's VIP gambling revenue. 1980, the decade of excess. The 1980s were known for excess, and Stanley didn't want to miss out. Not only did he solidify his position as a casino mogul, but he also added more properties to his collection, including Casino Taipa and Casino Oriental, which caters to mass market and local gamblers. In his 60s, Stanley also expanded his personal life, adding 2 more women to his circle. His new partners were nurses and ballroom dancers, his apparent type. He started a relationship with Ina Chan in 1985, while she cared for Clementina and bore him 3 children. Angela Leung, a dance instructor, became his partner in 1988 and gave him another 5 children. Even though concubines were outlawed, Stanley wasn't deterred by legalities. Friends of the Triad, Pope, and the Chinese government in the 1990s. By the 1990s, Stanley had truly earned Godfather status. With 4 wives, a growing casino empire, and a significant role in Macau's development, he was a key figure. In 1989, the Pope honored him with the papal insignia of Knight Commander of the Equestrian Order of St. Gregory the Great for his generosity towards the Catholic Church. Despite his philanthropic reputation, the Western world started linking him to the criminal underworld. Reports from New Jersey and Canada made connections between Stanley and criminal figures. His name had been scrutinized by foreign governments since the 1950s for smuggling activities and Triad links. Nevertheless, Stanley presses on. He even opened a casino in North Korea.
I had absolutely nothing to do with Triads.
You're not a member of the Triad?
Of course not.
Nor are you a leader?
I don't know anything about these Triads. I only fight them. Joining with the Macau government.
In one of the reports, it says you are the alleged leader of the Luen Kung Lok Triad.
I don't have ever heard of such a name even. I don't know anything about Triads.
As Macau transitioned back to Chinese rule, Stanley played a critical role in shaping its future. Despite the ever-changing landscape in Macau, he remained the one constant.
If they can have a look at Macau and can see what I have done for Macau.
Head of a monopoly in the 2000s. After Macau's return to Chinese rule, new players entered the market. Officially, Stanley welcomed the competition with statements like, "We have the opportunity to learn from one another, and the cake is getting bigger, and we can all have a share." But internally, he was determined not to be outdone. Following the opening of Sands inaugural casino, he said to his inner circle, "We will not be disgraced. We will not lose to intruders." Even though Stanley Ho maintained a leading position through 2014, today SJM holds just 12% of the market share, the lowest among all operators in Macau. However, his company operates 13 of the 30 casinos in Macau, which is the most in the region. The reason for the discrepancy is the market has shifted to the Cotai Strip, which Las Vegas Sands developed to mimic the Vegas Strip. And SJM was the last of the 6 operators to enter Cotai, and most of their new properties there have been underwhelming. Part of this decline can be attributed to the loss of leadership and talent, as well as a corporate culture dulled by years as a monopoly. From 1980 to 2008, STDM's strategy focused on high rollers brought in by junket operators. While the Chinese government shifted focus to mass and premium mass markets, STDM was caught off guard, lacking integrated resorts compared to their competitors. Staying alive in the 2010s. In 2009, Stanley fell in his bathroom and spent nearly $13 million over the next 100 days on medical care, including brain surgery. Over the next decade, he spent another $13 million on medical treatment, including to prevent cognitive decline. Along with his health struggles, family disputes emerged. With four factions vying for their own interests, it's no surprise that family visits were often accompanied by media coverage to show Stanley's family in a positive light. He retired at 96 and passed away in 2020 at the age of 98. Remembering his legacy. Looking back, it's clear Stanley Ho made a huge impact on the development of Macau's gaming industry and its overall growth, even though newer operators have taken over in the 21st century. His ability to adapt and thrive in challenging situations were simply remarkable. From bartering during wartime to building a casino empire, Stanley turned obstacles into opportunities. However, his legacy isn't without controversy. Critics point to his connections with organized crime, monopolistic practices, and family issues. But for many, Stanley Ho was a visionary who transformed Macau from a sleepy colonial outpost into the world's gambling capital.